Okay, story time. I'm sitting here a little bored at my place of business, man, Sugar Bears. So I figured I'd tell a little story. I think about this story quite a bit, just because I always wonder what happened to my high school crush. It's a story about my high school crush and how I got her. Now, mind you, I never thought I would be able to get my high school crush. Never. She was a little cutie, man. She was a cutie. She was a good girl. She was a preacher's girl. A preacher's daughter, I mean. She was a preacher's daughter. She came to school with blouse and slacks on every day. She wasn't allowed to wear skirts. None of that, right? She was a nice, cute little light skinned chick. And I think her name was Tanya. It was either Tanya or Tasha, I believe. That was one of the things throughout the years that I regret is forgetting her name. But I was only with her for about a good maybe 4 or 5 months, maybe six at the most. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, like I said, she was a little cutie, right? And we all used to see her walking through the halls, man. All me and the fellas, we would, after, exchanging classes, sometimes we would all just be hanging out by the post, just waiting for the bell to ring for the next class. And she come walking by, man, and we all just eye her, man. Like, golly, she's a little cutie. Man, what a little cute girl, man. None of us are gonna be able to get her. And there was other guys in the school, of course, that were a lot more fitter than me, a lot more athletic than me, a lot more good looking than me. And I just never thought that I would get her. I thought, okay, maybe these other chicks, other dudes are gonna be able to get this girl before me. So I never even tried, man. But I always used to stare at her and look at her. She would catch me looking and staring at her quite a bit. So all the other dudes, they would try. Every day they see her, they try. She turn them down. She turn them down. Knock them out the box. Turn them down. She knocked them out the box one by one by one. I'm like, man, and that just made me feel even more that I would never get her. So as time go by, I'm still staring at her, just making sure she see me eye her, just kind of flirting with her, the best way I can without getting too embarrassed. So I continue to flirt, I continue to eye her. Time goes by, and one day I'm in practice. I'm in basketball practice, right? And I just get through, we just get through practice, and I'm sitting in the bleachers just cooling out, just kind of like resting a little before I get up and leave. And she walks in the gym. I don't know why she's in the gym, but she walks in the gym, right? She passes me the first time, and then she goes to the office over there, the gym office. Still don't know why she went there. She might have went to a locker, or she was with a friend or something. But I remember she passes me the first time, right? And I'm watching her. I'm watching her. Actually, when she came in the gym, she kind of eyed me. She kind of looked at me, and it gave me a little bit of courage. I said, you know what? I got to say something to this girl. I got to say something to her. So as on her way out, she has to come by me again because I'm on the bleachers, right? So she walks by me again, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Back then I was probably like, I don't know, maybe 16 at the time. She might have been about 15, 16 as well. So I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She says, "Hey." I said, "Come here, let me talk to you." And of course, I'm thinking she ain't gonna come. She's just gonna turn back, and she turned back and came, and my heart skipped a beat. I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's coming back." So I'm sitting there. She comes back, sits down. I don't remember exactly what we said or what I said, but I start talking to her. I start putting my little 16-year-old rap on her. And she falls for it. She falls for it. And we talked for about a good half an hour. Before we leave out of the gym, she's sitting on my lap. And we're talking and flirting and laughing and kicking it. And I'm in such freaking awe that I got this little pretty little thing sitting on my lap and I'm talking to her. I'm in such awe and shock and amazement. I'm like, oh my God, I can't, in my mind, I'm thinking like, oh my God, I can't believe that I actually got this girl to talk to me. So, of course, we, exchanged phone numbers, and, I asked her, can we talk, go steady, or whatever the case may be. not steady, but can we talk? At that time, we had just started talking, so I didn't want to say steady right off the bat, but I remember saying, can I call you? Can we talk? She's like, yeah, you can call me and talk. So, she goes her way, I go my way. A couple of days go by, I see her in the hallway, say hi to her, talk to her for a few times, and, I end up calling her a few times, and we end up going together. We end up going together. So I'm happy. I'm kicking it with this girl, you know what I'm saying? We walking down the hallway, holding hands, everything. When the fellas see that, they just lose it. They like, what? Can't believe you go with that cat before you go with us. And I'm just walking down the hallway smiling at them all, giving them the finger and the whole nine behind it, like this, because she's a goody little two-shoot girl. So I don't want to see, I didn't want her to see me, acting, thuggish or, niggerish out the way, or excuse my language, but, just acting like we do when we young like that, as men, as boys. So that goes on for a while, you know what I'm saying? I'm just, and after a while, the guys just accepted it. They stopped talking to it. And, remember when I said she couldn't wear anything but slacks and blouses to school? So we would have these short days where we were, shorts, where we were able to wear shorts. Because you couldn't actually wear shorts to school or matching days or something. We would have a special day where you could wear shorts, tank tops and stuff like that to school, because I think it was kind of like banded at the time that you really couldn't wear shorts to school at that time. So we would have these days, and she would never be able to wear shorts. So I would call her and be like, look, I got you an outfit. And me and my friend Pokey, we used to go to, it was called Zaire's at the time, or Zaire's or whatever it was called. And we go steal outfits, we were still pants or whatever the case may be. We young, we ain't got no money to buy clothes. So we go in there and we steal outfits. So I used to steal her outfits for her, her short outfits. And I remember one short day we had, one day we had a short day. We could wear shorts. Of course, like I said, she couldn't wear shorts. So I stole a matching short set for me and her. And I bring her shorts to school. Then she goes into the girls' locker room and changes. So we walk through school all day, change in class after, in between class, we meet up and walk down the hallway holding hands. I walk her to her class, and I used to just, we used to kiss, man, for like, I don't know, probably freaking almost 5 minutes. And I remember my homeboy Jeffrey Harris would always walk by, be like, man, here come the teachers, man, or look up, Reese, you know what I'm saying? I would have to let her go. Every now and then, Mr. Mack, our band teacher, would catch us in the hallway kissing. He'd pull us apart. So time, again, a little time goes by, and one day, man, her father finds out, because she was actually keeping it from her father. So one day, her father finds out that she has a boyfriend. And this is probably after about maybe 4 months we've been together, 3 months, 4 months. And I've been enjoying going with the prettiest girl in school, man. I've been happy and enjoying it and just relishing in it, So her father finds out. Her father bans her from seeing me. So I remember he was coming to school. He was coming to school and sitting with her between her classes, actually. I remember that, between 1 or 2 classes, making sure she didn't talk to me between classes. So we couldn't talk for a while, you know what I'm saying? And when her father would leave, of course, we would talk here and there. And then that went on for a while, and her father really kind of messed up our little, our little courtship going together and stuff. And I remember one day I got her on the phone. She snuck and called me, or I called her, one or the other. And I got her on the phone, and she comes to my house to see me one afternoon after school. I remember when I used to live in Westlake Apartments in Lakeland, Florida. She came to my apartment one day to see me in school. She drove too. She was driving at the time. She came over. She spent about, I don't know, maybe an hour or 2 with me in the apartments and stuff. And, that was that. And then her father found out that she came over. So the next couple of days, he brings her over there. And this was crazy right here, because I was living with my cousin Marvin at the time. Marvin Hagen was his name. And I was living with him. So my little girlfriend's father comes over, brings her over to the house, knocks on the door. I answer the door, and it's them. And he's like, is this the young man you trying to go with? And she's like, yeah, but she's crying, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, why is she crying, you know? And I could tell right off the bat why she's crying after a while, because he's right, just really mean. Like, he's telling her, what do you want with this young man? What are you going to do with my daughter? You know, things what a father would say to a boyfriend. You can't do nothing with my daughter. She's a God-given girl, and this and that, this and that. And he just bans us from seeing each other. She's crying. He was trying to ask her a question at one time, and she wasn't answering, and he was like, answer me, answer me. She didn't answer, so he slapped her. Bah! I'm like, oh, why you slap her? What you doing? We get to argue. He jumps in my face, and then my cousin Marvin comes out, because my cousin Marvin, he wasn't no joke. He didn't care, you know what I'm saying? He heard the yelling and stuff. So he comes out, he would fight anybody. I really didn't really want to step into the dude's face, but I had to say something about him slapping her. But I wasn't really, trying to, he was a grown man, he was a preacher. And I'm 16 years old. Again, like I said, my cousin Marvin didn't care. He came out, he started cussing the dude out. Don't be over here yelling at my cousin, such and such and such. Get away from here, such and such. Go on about your business before I knock you out. This is how Marvin talking to the dude. So he feels it. He's an older dude. He didn't want to mess with Marvin. Marvin was kind of built at the time, tall. He didn't really want to mess with Marvin. So he grabs his daughter, man, and drags her back to the car, and they leave. The next day, man, she comes to school, man, and I could look in her face, man, tell she had been crying all day, all night. She had been just crying, bawling, because her eyes, man, were red. She had dark spots around her eyes, and dark blotches around her eyes. Looked like she had been up all day long. And I'm trying to talk to her. I go over to her, and she wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't even look at me. She just kept walking by me, man, the whole day. The whole day, even between classes, I would wait at the end of the hall from her class where she was coming, and so I can try and talk to her, and she wouldn't look at me, she wouldn't talk to me, and she would just keep walking, man, and ignored me for the rest of the school year. And that was my last year at that school, too. Now, if me and her would have stayed together, I probably would have stayed there, but I had a choice to leave and come to New York from Florida at the end of that year. Some things was going on, and that's another whole story. I can tell you about that story soon too. But some things was going on, and I had a choice. I'd rather either deal with the things that was going on or leave and go back home, go to New York where my mom had moved. Because when she moved to New York is when I moved in with my cousin Marvin. So for the rest of the school year, it had to be a few months left in the school year. She ignored me, man. She ignored me for the rest of the school. I never talked to her again. Never talked to her again. And at the end of the school year, school ended, and I never seen her again, man. And that crushed me. My heart was broken because of that, man. And I really was mad at that dude, man, her father, man, for hurting her like that, because she was hurt. She was hurt probably because she couldn't see me. She was probably hurt because her father was probably being mean, because the way he treated her at that door, I can imagine how he was treating her at home and how mean he was to her at home. So I know she was hurt. And I always wondered through the years what happened to that girl. I really did. I always wondered. And like I said, because we were only together for, about 6 months, as the years went on, I truly forgot her name. And if on the basis though, I really truly believe her name was either Tanya or Tasha. It was one of them, I believe. I'm thinking, because I just remember that name so much from school, from high school. But that is my story time about my high school crush. Thought about that a lot throughout the years, and every now and then I still think about it to this day. I'm a happily married man now, and I, love my wife. I love my wife to death, and I would never leave her under any circumstances for another woman. But I do wonder every now and then I wonder what happened to that girl at the age of 16, my high school crush. I do wonder. Well, that's my story of my high school crush.